TCL does it again. Today, the QM9K. Up next.
I've seen things people wouldn't believe.
Hey, what's up guys? I'm Brian. This is Tech Therapy. Thank you so much for joining me for this TCL QM9K reveal video. I was very fortunate to be invited to New York City to see the TCL QM9K be revealed to the media. And honestly, they didn't even need to have this TV out. That's how good the 2025 TV year has been for TCL. Yet here they are again, another hit in a year of hits, starting with the TCL QM6K, the first TV released out of any other manufacturer, followed right up with the QM7K, and then the highest end QM8K. While all those TVs have many sizes available, and the QM8K being ultra premium, the QM9K takes that up even further. It's all gravy at this point for all of us and TCL. Without further ado, let's check out the TCL QM9K. Thank you so much for watching. All right, guys, let's do it. New York City, we're here with TCL in the Ultimate Series, which now includes the TCL QM9K. Now, the Ultimate Series for TCL, in my opinion, is basically Flagship 1 and Flagship 2. The QM8K is titled the Ultimate Choice, and the QM9K, the Ultimate Performance, meaning for that enthusiast that wants a bit more horsepower in every aspect, that is why the QM9K exists. Now we'll go through the full specs throughout the video, but I wanted to just show you the QM9K in a brighter room. In this New York City penthouse showroom, they brought 3 QM9Ks, and we saw them against competitors and we saw them on their own. I want to show you this one model as you can see the design more clearly, as it does retain a similar design to the excellent QM8K with the zero borderless design, meaning that matrix border is basically not there at all, giving the QM8K and QM9K a very elegant and high-end look. It really is amazing what TCL has pulled off in just a few years in terms of their design and presentation. Now quickly, let's pivot over to their sound system that they demoed with the QM9K, the Z100 wireless speaker. I wanted to showcase this very quickly as it does work in tandem with the Bang & Olufsen sound system that is incorporated with these TVs. TCL is known for having very good sound, but many of you feel like, why would I get a sound bar if I have this great sound? Not to worry, this system works in tandem with that existing system built right into the TV. They showcased 3 separate speakers like this and then a subwoofer, and I love the fact that you can buy the speakers one at a time. They do sound very good, and the connectivity was very quick. And again, working with the system built into the QM9K, it did sound amazing. Let's get back into the QM9K in the back room, which was a bit darker and better to show off what it's really capable of. I love what TCL is doing here with the QM9K. It is very unique and certainly unique this year. Not only did they have the first TV launched this year with the QM6K, but now they have one of the last TVs to launch here in early September. Now, what I love about this approach is taking an existing flagship, which was the QM8K, which in my opinion is a flagship quality TV, keeping a similar or the same chassis and design and simply making it better, offering that extra horsepower, as I mentioned, much brighter, many more zones, thus improving its HDR impact and contrast ratio, giving you that option versus having a totally separate launch for an untouchable TV that many of you won't be able to afford. The QM9K is affordable and priced accordingly with the rest of the TVs in their lineup, making the QM9K a very high-end but realistic model for many of you. It also comes in at 65, 75, 85, and a 98-inch. That is also unique. Not only do you have an extra model that expands upon the existing flagship, it also has many sizes available. What I love about their scaling is you can easily say, well, I can't afford the QM9K, we'll get a larger QM8K or a larger QM7K. The amount of sizes and the amount of technology from the HVA panels on the QM6K, QM7K, and then the WHVA panels on the QM8K and QM9K really gives you so much to choose from. And while TCL is known for ultra-large TVs, this isn't some pie-in-the-sky prototype that many of you are going to say, I can't afford it, when's this going to be available, maybe I'll buy it in 3 years. This will be available very soon. Actually, the review sample at 65 inches is on its way to me as I'm doing this voiceover. And while it's great to look into the future at prototypes and other technologies, which believe me, TCL does have their own version of those other technologies from other manufacturers, I love that within the confines of 2025, you have a realistic and ridiculous lineup, starting again with the QM6K all the way now to the QM9K, which each tier has affordable options, crazy technology, and many, many sizes to choose from. Now, what also doesn't even seem fair is that the QM8K, I'll bring it up for the last time in this video, was comparable to the highest end mini LEDs on the market this year. And many of you thought the QM8K beat a lot of those TVs. Well, now the QM9K takes that further and will undoubtedly beat those other TVs. The specs are really off the charts. Again, it doesn't really even seem fair. It's almost like taking a car that was doing really well, bringing it back into the shop and just totally tricking it out. That's what the QM9K is in a nutshell. Besides the fact that it's offering all kinds of AI technology, Gemini built in, and they did feature a lot of that. I'll go through some of those specs in a moment. A lot of that is also going to go over to the QM8K via firmware update. But the QM9K, again, with the sound system I showed you a few minutes ago, really is the complete high-end package. And I love the fact, again, that we're going from 65 inches all the way to 98. Now, we were surprised but not surprised for the existence of the QM9K. We saw it at CES. We also saw a lot of other TVs at CES that never really make it to market. But what really was surprising about the QM9K, we heard rumors there would be only one size, 85 or 98. To have a 65-inch option all the way to 98 is unbelievable. I love the way their TVs are tiered. I love the way you say to yourself, well, I really would get a 65-inch QM9K. Well, no, instead get a 75-inch QM8K or an 85-inch QM7K or a 100-inch QM6K. So scalable. And the fact that the pricing, even though I don't have the exact pricing now, they did show the scalability from model to model and where the jumps are very measured from size to size and tier to tier. Now, we also saw the QM9K in a different room against leading competitors. And while I won't mention the competitors, the other manufacturers, the results were pretty eye-opening. But the main competitor that I will mention is actually the QM8K. Seeing these two TVs side by side was amazing. And I can't wait to have the QM9K back at my studio, as I still have the 85-inch QM8K. And seeing the difference between those two, the QM8K alone is amazing. Seeing the QM9K next to it, you can see exactly what you're paying for. And those demos were movies, not demo material, and you could really see the difference between the two TVs. You could see more depth, more color in terms of peak brightness and color luminance, as well as the contrast ratio on the QM9K gave it more of a 3D image, in the HDR a bit more pop. Now, it didn't blow away the QM8K at all, but it gave you that look to say, yep, I want that because I want a bit more of what I love. That was what was so cool. This is great, this is awesome, but you know what? I want a little bit more of that. And as an enthusiast that wants more horsepower, that's a gift. And I was thinking to myself, cannot wait to see this comparison at home. Now the QM9K, again, is their ultimate series, and it does have their Halo control system. The precise dimming zones. Let's go through some of the specs on what the TCL QM9K offers. Now let's read some of the specs, and you're looking at the TCL AIPQ Pro processor. You have the Crisp-Glow WHVA panel and a jump up to 6,500 nits over the QM8K, which was about 5,000 nits. Now, are these real numbers or real peak brightness? That I don't know, but it is an appreciable jump in both dimming zones, where you're now at 6,000 dimming zones over the QM8K. Again, it's a big difference, something that you look at and say, okay, I can actually see that on the screen. I already mentioned that you have 65, 75, 85, and 98-inch models available. All the gaming features you've seen on the other models, 144 Hertz at 4K, 288 Hertz at 1080p, as well as all HDR formats. You have Dolby Vision IQ, HDR10+, HDR10, and HLG. On the sound side, we have the Bang & Olufsen sound system, but for audio pass-through, we have Dolby Atmos, Dolby Digital Plus, Dolby Digital, DTS:X, and PCM. TCL also does have its own art mode, and they really are embracing the lifestyle functionality with Google Gemini and bringing more of their products to the US in terms of working in tandem with the other appliances that would be in your home from TCL, incorporating the whole lifestyle lineup that they haven't really looked at before, but are fully embracing this year. Now, personally, I could care less about AI functionality, but I was super impressed with the Gemini demo, having both Google and Gemini incorporated in the QM9K. Hanging out with Bruce and Rochelle from TCL, shout out to them and the team. Bruce was asking questions to Gemini and was actually purposefully not pronouncing the words correctly, and Gemini still grabbed them immediately and brought up all kinds of other movies, and he brought up different versions of movies, and it brought it in where you would actually use its suggestions. That was very cool. And other than having something like an ambient light sensor, there also is a room sensor where when you walk in the room, you can map it out to where the TV will shut off, and you can set a timer to when you walk out of the room at a certain point, the TV will go into a standby mode and then turn back on when you walk back in. You can set that parameter, and it's very easy. So these are features that I typically don't care about, but I would actually use. And I do believe a lot of these features will go over to the QM8K via firmware update, not all of them, but some of them. Now, in closing, I was blown away by the QM9K simply because I already love the QM8K, which I brought up 1,000 times in this video. But seeing TCL expand upon that and give you another option at this late in the year is something a lot of us have always wanted versus waiting for CES and waiting for another model. The QM9K is here right now. And why this benefits us is TCL is not following, they are leading, and they are setting the trends, and this is a trend that I love. I'm Brian, this is Tech Therapy. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing. Take care.